One side has venom that can take down any creature. The other side is speed. What makes a rattlesnake run away? In Sonora, just one mistake can mean the difference between life and death. Rattlesnake versus Roadrunner. The battle for survival in the Sonora Desert. In the arid border stretching from Arizona to northern Mexico, the Sonora Desert stretches like a vast sea of toes abyss. And this is the hottest desert in North America, where the temperature can exceed 45 degrees Celsius during the day, and the night is unexpectedly cold. The rugged Rocky Mountains, dry valleys, and red sand fields shimmering under the scorching sun create a picture that is both majestic and harsh. Despite being so harsh, Sonora is still home to countless creatures, from small creatures lurking in the sand to the rulers of the night. And in the midst of that survival picture, a bird stands out with extraordinary speed and cunning, becoming the symbol of this land. Roadrunner. The sand glider. With a compact body, dark wings with white edges, and a long tail like a rudder, it is not notable for its ability to fly, but for its extraordinary legs. Roadrunner can run at a speed of more than 30 kilometers per h, surpassing most snakes, lizards, or insects in the area. Each of its steps is a perfect combination of strength and flexibility, making it a true predator in the desert. Not only fast, this bird is also extremely wise. They eat all kinds of things, from insects, lizards, small birds, to those that seem out of reach, poisonous snakes. The boldness makes the Roadrunner one of the rare creatures that dares to challenge dangerous reptiles. In the distance, in the middle of the sun-dappled land, a silhouette curls silently. The mottled gray-brown body blends into the sand. The triangular head is held high, the eyes are cold, and most importantly, the tail vibrates in warning. Rattlesnakes. The Sonoran symbol of death. With venom that can take down even large animals, rattlesnakes often lie in wait in silence, waiting for prey to come close before launching a lightning strike. But on their list of enemies, there is one special opponent. That is the agile Roadrunner. On the burning sand, the Roadrunner glides with swift steps. Long, strong legs propel the body lightly, making almost no sound other than the crunch of falling sand. Bright eyes scan the ground, full of alertness. And then it sees its target. Just ahead, the rattlesnake is coiled. But for the Roadrunner, it is a signal, an opportunity. It does not hesitate. The fight is on. The venom is ready. But the bird's peck exceeded its reflexes. The survival instinct kicked in, and the rattlesnake quickly fled. As a result, the predator did not get the expected feast. The bird continued to glide across the burning sand, searching for another target. In Sonora, the fast do not always win, and the venomous do not always survive. The rule here is clearer than ever. Just one decisive moment can change the course of life or death. But in the endless cycle of survival, they will meet again, in another, more fierce battle, where only the most stubborn can survive. These birds are considered a symbol of adaptation. They often live alone or in pairs, occupying large territories in the desert. They do not fly much, but mainly run, taking advantage of their long, strong legs to overcome the hot sand terrain. During the breeding season, males will perform special displays and bring food to attract mates. Their nests are usually built in low bushes, lined with dry grass and leaves. Each clutch consists of 2 to 6 eggs, and both males and females incubate and raise the young together. The chicks hatch after just a few weeks. Their breeding habits and pair bonding have helped the Roadrunners maintain a stable population despite the dangers that lurk around them. But the Sonoran Desert is not just for those who run on sand. High above, the sky is the domain of another master hunter. A golden eagle. A symbol of power and majesty, with a wingspan of more than 2 meters, eyes as sharp as knives that penetrate every tiny movement on the ground. The golden eagle does not hunt in haste. It is a master of patience. It quietly circles, taking advantage of the hot air currents rising from the desert to stay aloft with almost no flapping of its wings. Using this tactic, it observes, chooses its target, and only strikes when the moment is perfect. Its muscular wings are spread wide, the outermost feathers spread out like giant fingers, helping to control the wind with precision. Every glide, every tilt of the wing is perfectly calculated. The cold golden eyes lock onto the target, while the strong curved beak opens slightly, revealing the cruelty of the apex predator. Its eyes can detect a rabbit from more than 3 kilometers away, and just a slight shaking of the grass is enough to betray its prey. The distance gradually narrows. The golden eagle tilts its wings, its long, sharp, curved talons gently closing. The air seems to sink. Suddenly, it dives. At a speed of more than 240 kilometers per hour. The hunt ends in the blink of an eye. Its steel talons grip its prey. A moment that shows the absolute power of the ruler of the Sonora sky. However, their lives do not revolve around hunting. At the end of winter, the golden eagle enters its breeding season. Its giant nests made of tree branches, several meters wide, are lined with grass and used for many years. The mother bird usually lays from 1 to 3 eggs. But the life of the young is a fierce competition. Only 1 or 2 young can mature. The weak ones are often left behind. A cruel law that selects the fittest. In the fading twilight, the Sonoran Desert reveals another mysterious resident. From a crevice in the rocks, a rattlesnake slithers silently out. It moves silently, its body curling in graceful loops, clinging to the ground like a dark wave. Each time it flicks its tongue, the snake collects the world of scents around it, while the heat-sensitive pits under its eyes allow it to see the warmth of any creature lurking in the grass. These are superior senses, replacing its eyes, which are less sensitive at night. It is not just a prey. It is also a silent killer. On both sides of its head, sensitive heat-sensitive pits register the slightest change in temperature. A mouse is foraging in the sand. The rattlesnake has not had a meal for days. It seems like nothing is a threat. But the little mouse, unaware that each breath had entered the snake's range of perception. The snake slowly slithered forward. Time seemed to stop. The rattlesnake stopped, the front half of its body lifted. Coiled like a tightly compressed spring. Only when it was certain that its prey was exhausted did the snake return to follow the scent, find it, and swallow it whole. In the harsh world of Sonora, each meal was not only a matter of survival for an individual, but also a pulse that kept the entire desert running in balance. And behind that deadly appearance was a continuing cycle of life. When spring came, the rattlesnake entered its reproductive journey. Where instinct and competition once again determined who had the right to continue the species. The male followed the distinctive scent emitted by the female. Unlike many other reptiles, rattlesnakes give birth directly, without laying eggs. The eggs are retained and developed in the mother's body until they hatch. Each litter can have from 4 to more than 12 young. The tiny snakes, just emerging, carry within themselves a terrifying weapon, a tail with the first small horn cavity and ready venom. They will separate from their mother after only a few days, starting a solitary life without any care. In the world of snakes, the instinct for self-preservation is placed above all. Further west, where the Sonora Desert meets the ocean, a completely different world opens up. Along the deep blue coast of the Gulf of California. This is where drought meets salt, and where survival takes on a new stage. High above, the shadow of a predator spreads its wings. Osprey. If the golden eagle is the all-powerful king of the desert sky, able to hunt anything, then the osprey is a specialist. It abandons diversity to reach the pinnacle of the art of fishing. It has a graceful appearance, a body about 60 centimeters long, a wingspan of more than 1.6. Dark brown feathers cover its back and wings, while its chest and belly are pure white, creating a stark contrast when flying. The white head has a black stripe running through the eyes down to the nape, making the golden eyes shine even more fiercely. With its long, narrow wings and mottled white-brown feathers, it seems to blend into the bright sky. But the eyes never stray. Its main diet is coastal and freshwater fish. It circles, slowly but precisely. It hovers 10 to 40 meters above the water, staring down at the dark blue water. The silvery fish reflect the sunlight like broken glass. They move in a lively wave just below the clear water. The bird folds its wings, suddenly dives. In a split second, the unfortunate fish is pinned by sharp, curved claws. The wings are soaked, still heavily lifting both body and prey from the surface of the sea. The hunt is over in a matter of seconds, but it is the clearest demonstration of superior adaptation. On the edge of the harsh desert, life still finds a way to explode, from the sky to the bottom of the sea. Not only is it the perfect hunter, it has a special evolutionary trait. Its feet can rotate the hind toes, creating a rare two-front, two-back position. This helps to grip the slippery fish like a steel clamp. The soles of the feet are covered with small spines, increasing friction, making it almost impossible for the prey to escape. It is an instinct honed over millions of years. Like many other birds of prey in Sonora, ospreys also live in pairs and are monogamous. Together they build giant nests. Together they raise the next generation, ensuring the succession of the masters of the coastal skies. This bird is distributed across continents, from North America, South America, Europe, Asia to Australia, becoming one of the most successful and widely adapted birds of prey on the planet. Just off the coast of the Sonoran Desert, the jagged rocks become home to California sea lions. They have large bodies. Adult males are over 2 meters long, weigh hundreds of kilograms, and have glossy brown fur. On land they walk slowly, but when in the water their bodies are flexible and strong, with large, strong front fins that allow them to glide as fast as an arrow. Their main food is fish, squid, and aquatic species. They often join forces, gather schools of fish into tight clumps, and then take turns pouncing to catch them. Thanks to their ability to dive deep and hold their breath for a long time, sea lions can easily exploit different water layers right next to the shore. During the breeding season, males occupy a rocky beach, protecting their group of females and their young. The disputes between males resound with characteristic roars, creating a familiar sound along the coast. In the hot, dry sea adjacent to the desert, the presence of sea lions is an essential part of the ecological balance. They connect the harsh world on the sand with the abundant life underwater, completing the picture of survival at the border between the desert and the ocean. In that picture of survival, from the sand runner, the killer hiding under the rocks, to the master of the sky and the inhabitants of the sea, all share the same rule: only adaptation opens the way for life. The desert and the ocean seem to be separate, but it is at this harsh boundary that resilience has woven an endless cycle of life. All combined into a fierce but beautiful symphony of nature. In the wild world, the strong are not only those who possess fangs or venom, but those who know how to adapt, be patient, and persevere in the face of challenges. Which animal's hunting ability impresses you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments section. If you love these types of explorations, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next fascinating stories about the wild world. Planet of Snakes, the world's most terrifying places. In the deep blue ocean off the coast of Brazil's São Paulo state, a small island covered in scrub and jagged rocks rises, a seemingly ordinary place, but one that is universally avoided by wildlife and humans alike. It is Ilha de Queimada Grande, or Snake Island, as it is known by its haunting name. From above, the island appears like a lonely green scar in the middle of the vast ocean. There is no sound of engines, no smoke, no human footprints. There is only the howling sea breeze, the rustling of the jungle, and the silent, indistinct movements among the rocks, where every bush, every ancient tree might hide a silent predator. On this 43-hectare island, the density of venomous snakes reaches insane levels, an average of up to 3 snakes per square meter. They do not come out to show off like crocodiles or tigers, but are always present, hidden in leaf litter, crevices in rocks, or wrapped tightly around mossy branches. When you sit down, when you put your hand on a tree stump, when you accidentally step on a mossy stone, you may have stepped on a snake without knowing it.
The most feared resident here is the golden island viper, a highly venomous snake that exists nowhere else in the world. With its pale golden skin and glowing black eyes, they are like deadly gems polished over thousands of years of evolution. There are no predators, no competitors, but seabirds always land. And so the snakes have adapted. They have developed a venom so potent that it can kill birds in just tens of seconds with a single bite, before the prey can fly away. The tree branches on the island are therefore not just resting places, but silent hunting traps, where birds land and never fly again. In addition to the golden viper, the island is also home to many seabirds such as short-tailed gulls, terns, and even red-crowned crabs that hide in the crevices of the rocks along the shore. However, no species is safe here. Even rats or bats, if they exist, will have a hard time surviving. The island has no streams or large sources of fresh water, making the ecosystem extreme and suffocatingly closed. Here, the food chain has only two components: the hunter and the hunted.
The Brazilian government has imposed an absolute ban on all tourism or access to the island, not because of superstition or myth, but because a bite from this snake can kill you within hours, and there is almost no chance of timely emergency care in this isolated sea. Except for a handful of scientists who were allowed to land with special protective gear and anti-venom serum at the ready, no one else was allowed to set foot on the island. Rare animal smugglers once ventured onto the island at night, never to return. Strangely, amid the deadly atmosphere, there was a breathtakingly pristine beauty. The sunset dyed the calm sea orange, the shadows of trees stretched across old stone, and streaks of yellow slithered through the bushes like a living stream. Not a roar, not a sharp claw, but this was the land of absolute killers. No need to threaten, no need to chase. They just lay there patiently waiting for someone else to make a mistake. In stark contrast to the damp, dense, and poisonous landscape of Snake Island at the equator, the next land took us to the north, where the cold seemed to have eliminated all cold-blooded creatures from the map. But in the heart of Manitoba, Canada, lies a place so strange it's hard to believe. Narcissus Snake Cave, where tens of thousands of snakes gather each year in the greatest reptilian survival ritual in the Northern Hemisphere.
When winter sets in, the ground here freezes like concrete. The temperature drops to minus 40 degrees Celsius. A world that seems fit only for polar bears, snowy owls, or howling winds. However, hidden deep underground are ancient limestone crevices, creating a natural labyrinth where temperatures remain above freezing. A magical, underground fireplace that snakes discovered thousands of years ago. When spring comes, the ice slowly melts. The first sunlight filters through the tree trunks that have yet to sprout leaves, and the reptile flood begins. From underground caves, thousands, then tens of thousands, of striped garter snakes begin to emerge. Their long, writhing bodies, striped black, yellow, or red, crawled over each other in vivid, moving masses. There was no sound, no smell of blood, but the sight sent shivers down the spines of anyone who saw it for the first time.
The wonder of Narcissus lies not in its toxicity. Garter snakes are not venomous, but in its sheer numbers and its gregarious breeding behavior. The smaller males awaken earlier and gather around the burrow exits as if awaiting a divine signal. When the larger, plumper females emerge, they are immediately surrounded by dozens of males coiled around in a living coil, a bizarre and bustling mating ball. Hundreds of fights take place over a single square meter of ground, while others continue to slither out from beneath the rocks. Around the nests, the black earth softens to mud, and the dry branches come alive with layers of snakes crawling over each other, like woven carpets of scaly skin. At times, the great rocks seem to vibrate, not from an earthquake, but from the snakes colliding, slithering, entwining, mates, and moving like a cold river of flesh. No bites, no roars, no blood, but the sight was so captivating that one could not take one's eyes off it. A visceral itch ran down one's spine. Not from fear of being attacked, but from the sense of standing in the midst of something beyond reason, a primitive biological machine that operated without human observation.
After a few weeks, the mating ritual was over. The snakes dispersed across the southern Manitoba prairie, beginning their quiet hunting season: mice, frogs, small fish. And the snake holes, they fell into a long sleep until the following spring. The Narcisse snake hole was not a dangerous place, but it was one of the most vivid symbols of the grandeur, order, and mystery of nature. Proof that even in the coldest, most barren, and most unforgiving places, life still finds a way. Quietly, fiercely, and inexorably. Among the barren plateaus, red rock mountains, and endless grasslands that stretch from east to west across Colorado, there is a creature that quietly rules this harsh landscape, the western rattlesnake, Crotalus viridis. Unlike other loud predators, rattlesnakes do not roar or chase their prey. They hide among sagebrush, under jagged rocks, and even beneath the wooden steps where hikers rest. With their grayish-brown scales that blend perfectly into the red dirt and dry grass of the American West, they are almost invisible, until you hear the eerie screech behind them, the death knell. It's the distinctive sound of their tails, hollow segments of antlers that click together hundreds of times per second as they vibrate, emitting an ancient sound that any creature understands as a sign of danger. In Colorado's ecosystems, from the eastern semi-deserts to the frozen Rocky Mountains, rattlesnakes play an indispensable role. They control populations of voles, ground squirrels, jackrabbits, and even baby birds.
Their hunting ability relies on deadly silence and a swift bite, faster than the blink of an eye. Their venom is a biological miracle. It paralyzes the nervous system, breaks down cellular structures, and starts the digestive process from within the body of their prey. But contrary to popular belief, rattlesnakes are not aggressive. They only attack when cornered. In the spring, when the snow melts and the ground warms, the snakes emerge from their rocky burrows, beginning their breeding season. Smaller males engage in a silent dance. They raise their bodies, coil, and push each other as if they were wrestling, trying to gain access to the female. After mating, the female remains pregnant throughout the summer, giving birth to fully formed, venomous, and defensive baby snakes as soon as they are born. Despite their deadly weapons, rattlesnakes are victims of their own fear. Each year, many are killed by picks, sticks, or guns, simply because they rattle their rattles in self-defense. But few people know that without them, rodents would quickly destroy the grassland ecosystem. Rattlesnakes are a symbol of powerful silence, a creature of cold beauty, but one that should be respected and preserved. Colorado, the bell is not a death knell but a reminder from the wild that here it is not man who rules, but the laws of balance, of instinct, and of creatures who know how to hide in silence. Amid the wild and fierce landscape of Fernandina Island, the fiery black jewel of the Galapagos archipelago, the ground is cracked, black, and broken, like the scales of a giant creature that has lain dormant here for thousands of years. There are no bird songs, no large trees, only volcanic rock, sparse bushes, and a harsh white sun reflecting from all sides. It is a rough, isolated, and hard world where only the most adapted creatures can survive. And in this landscape, at the beginning of each breeding season, the most terrifying biological phenomenon of the Galapagos recurs. The mass hunt of the Galapagos racer. From deep crevices in the rocks, low bushes, cracks only the width of a hand, dozens, even hundreds of snakes began to slither out at once. They made no sound, but moved in unison, like a shadow army. With their slender bodies, scales of ash gray or reddish brown that seemed to melt into the volcanic rock, they moved in perfect coordination, covering every stretch of the path leading from the nest of the young iguanas to the shore. It was not a single individual hunting, but a collective tactic, as if pre-programmed by millions of years of evolution in isolation. In the distance, adult marine iguanas lay motionless on the black cliffs of the coast, their bodies covered with white salt, their eyes closed in meditation. They were not worried, they were too big for the snakes to attack. But deep underground, where the eggs have just hatched, the baby iguanas, just hours old, are beginning their first and most dangerous journey, crawling from their birthplace to the sea, to join the herd and survive. Each has only a few minutes to cross a bare rock. But in those minutes, the whole island seems to hold its breath. A baby iguana emerges from its nest, the sunlight hitting its eyes. It hesitates, sniffs the air, then darts away, but like a living nightmare. The ground suddenly shifts. From 3 directions, snakes burst from the ground, curling like whips, slithering past each other. All around, blue-footed boobies hovered nearby, occasionally swooping down to snatch fish from the surface. Galapagos seals lazily sunned themselves on the cooler rocks at the edge of the island, seemingly unconcerned by the silent hunt that was taking place a few dozen meters above. In the Galapagos, every creature had a role to play, and every creature understood that survival was not a given. When the racer snakes had had their fill, they quietly retreated to their old hiding places, their bodies bloated with undigested food. The survivors continued to crawl toward the sea. some reaching safety, others falling in subsequent attacks. The battle was repeated for days, quiet, unpretentious, but cold, precise, and chillingly effective. On Fernandina Island, where volcanic rock and sunlight melt away the weak, racers don't need venom to be killers. They need strategy, speed, and companionship. In a world where survival is the preserve of the strong and cunning, they are master hunters of silence. As the group hunt ends on the black rocks of Fernandina Island, the sun sets over the western Pacific, leaving a trail of orange and red reflected in the waves. The Galapagos racers retreat to their hideouts, sated and motionless as the landscape itself. But our journey with snakes isn't over yet. There's another realm, a saltwater kingdom, where snakes don't slither across hard ground or hide under dry grass, but swim like living blades in the ocean. The scene shifts to the vast Southwest Ocean, where the Pacific Ocean meets the shores of Australia and Southeast Asia, amid vibrant coral reefs and clear, warm waters. This is a shallow sea that stretches from northern Australia to Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, and the Solomon Islands, part of the so-called Coral Triangle, and is home to the highest concentration of sea snakes on the planet. Beneath the crystal-clear waters, sunlight streams down on each reef, as if through glass, highlighting thousands of colorful marine creatures. Clownfish hide behind anemones, lionfish flutter among branches of bony coral, and in the distance the silhouette of a creature unlike any other, long, thin, and sinuous like living silk. It is the hook-scaled sea snake Hydropus elegans, one of dozens of species of sea snakes that have made this place their home. And they are not alone. In the waters from Queensland to the Gulf of Papua, there are more than 20 different species of sea snakes, including some that are unique, endemic, and extremely venomous, such as the Dubois sea snake, Ipisurus duboisi, or the Belcher's sea snake, a species that was once ranked as the most venomous in the world. However, contrary to the image of ferocious snakes, most sea snakes are quite docile, only attacking when touched or cornered. They are perfectly adapted to aquatic life, their flat paddle-like tails, long lungs, and the ability to absorb oxygen through their skin, allowing them to dive deep and stay underwater for hours. They hunt by weaving through coral to catch small fish, octopuses, and eels, sometimes even entering narrow burrows without fear of getting trapped. Here there is no need for ambushes, no need for mass chases. Sea snakes simply swim slowly, then suddenly attack with a precise full bite, enough to paralyze their prey almost instantly. And then in the calm blue water, it gently swallows the life that has just ended. Unlike the Colorado rattlesnake or the Galapagos racer, which live in arid lands or scorching volcanoes, the sea snakes float in the ocean, as if breathing the tide itself, making no sound, leaving no trace. And in a world as colorful as a tropical dream, they are the cold outline of death. Writhing like ghosts on the sea floor.